It's February 3rd, 2020, and we at Roll for Crit finally managed to break out of our Groundhog Day loop yesterday. We're here at last to bring you the new releases for the week in the board game world. In Animal Kingdoms, players will be adding animal cards with various numbers into one of 5 different kingdoms. Each has their own rules as to how and when you can play those cards. At the end of the round, when someone has completed a kingdom, you see who has the most power in there, meaning they've played the most cards to it, and they will score the most points. Then there's Cooper Island. This is a fairly complex Euro strategy game in which players are sending out boats into an island, trying to explore and settle there, unlocking new powers, progressing along the way, and the winner will be the person who has developed the best and gotten their boats the farthest into the island. Egizia is another worker placement game with also boats. This one takes place along the Nile and has a new addition, Shifting Sands. This new one adds a couple of new monuments that you can now add your workers to. It will give you different powers, more powerful effects depending on how well you do at completing their goals. Hats is a game based on Alice in Wonderland. You're at the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. You are trying to get different hats that are worth different points. You will have cards in hand of different hats of colors and numbers that you can trade in to a public pile. And depending on which card is at the top of those piles, that determines how many points that color of hat will be worth at the end of the game. So you're trying to manipulate which ones are worth more versus what you keep in hand once the game ends. Heaven and Ale has a new expansion, Kegs and More. It includes kegs and more. This time around, you're going to be not only brewing beer, now you have to figure out how to deliver it to various local taverns. So you got to figure out how to store it and how to send it off. It's all kinds of fun new strategies in this expansion for that game. Modifius is releasing Kung Fu Panda, the board game. Based on the movies as well as the animated series, players will be working together using their special powers as either Poe or one of his many animal friends, trying to take down evil villains.
Matroska is getting a new edition. This is a game about set collecting those very famous Russian dolls. We've also got Pathfinder, Lost Omens, Gods and Magic. This is a new Pathfinder book which adds a whole slew of new gods and pantheons for you to either worship or call other worshippers heretics. This of course includes new domains and spells and plenty of other fun tools for you. We've got Rolling Ranch, a roll and write, where you have woken up and discovered that your ranch was destroyed in a hurricane. It is up to you to rebuild your ranch as well as collect the animals that have escaped. Thunderstone Quest, What Lies Beneath, is the 6th new quest expansion for the Thunderstone Quest. It of course includes a lot of new cards, including a new quest for normal, competitive, and barricade mode. We've also got Unmatched Bruce Lee. This comes with only one fighter, so this is not a standalone like many of the other Unmatched. But that one fighter is Bruce Lee, so be like water and defeat your enemies. Finally, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Ignition Assault. This is a new set based on the Yu-Gi-Oh! TV series Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. Includes new cards to support many other groups, as well as 2 new groups to add to your collection.
Matroska is a game that I actually backed the original version of. We played it. That's a fun little set collection game. I know the new one has some new artwork that I think people like. Some people maybe didn't like. I don't know. But I think they play more or less the same. But that's a cute little filler game, I think, if you want to check that one out. I like set collection.
I'm pretty sure Egizia 2 was a very popular game. This is a new edition that fixed some of the issues or add some more variability involved, like the way it worked, the worker placement was like you had to flow them downstream. It wasn't simply just place them where you want.
Yeah. If you like place one in one area, everyone else has to go underneath you. So you all block spaces in 2 different ways, in a sense. So that sounded pretty interesting. And Cooper Island too sounds like there's a lot going on in it, from what I've read. Like if you're not someone who likes those heavy Euro games and a lot of moving pieces, you might not want to play it. But it sounds cool. It sounds like it's probably a really good game if you can get past that and understand the rules of it.
I'm surprised you don't have the Unmatched Bruce Lee yet. I mean, that just sounds like such a cool addition.
Yeah, I definitely gonna pick that up. Big fan of Unmatched, and it's like I think it's like $10-15 for the one little fighter. So I mean that's just such a weird and cool addition to that universe. Then there were a couple other like even Animal Kingdoms and Hats that I mentioned, like games that weren't really on my radar. I think Animal Kingdoms actually might have been a Kickstarter pick for us a while back. But they sound fun.
We go too many.
Yeah, I know. How do we? We can't remember. But it did sound like there were some pretty cool, interesting games like Rolling Ranch. Like I'm always into a different take on a roll and write kind of a thing.
I also like look. We always have a list to look through and decide beforehand. And a lot of them are big tiles, especially if it's like Kegs and more expansion. Then there's just hats.
Hats. Yeah, what a name for a game. Hats. So as always, of course, we want to know what games are you picking up, if any. Are you a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan? Because we don't know any. So to let us know what you think about this new set. Like, what's the state of that?
Yeah, the two new groups. Like one apparently is based on the Roman pantheon. The other one is actually the warriors from Legends of the Romance of the Legend King. The Chinese warriors. I'm mixing up the name. The dinosaurs are based on.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little bit tongue-tied.
I think it's the Warriors 3 from Thor. Those guys. Yeah, so I don't know. Talk to us about that or anything else that's on your mind in the comments section right down below. Until we see you again, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Will.
This was Roll for Crit.
Get an inspiration token by supporting us on Patreon and liking and subscribing to this channel.
If you support us on Patreon, you'll get access to our audio expansion podcast. It's so good.